Today I want to describe some of the features in the Power Query in Excel and how you can manipulate the data using the Power Query. In this workbook I have three queries. One from that I brought in, got data from an XML file. Another query I created by bringing in data from a table in Access Database. And then I created a query by merging the two. So what I want to show you today is how to add three different types of columns to manipulate the data. So we're first going to begin by editing the merge query and opening up your Power Query editor. I want to begin by adding a conditional column. And when you're creating a conditional column, you're using the if function. So what I want to do is I want to add a new field called archive, and if the date is if the date is before or equal to December 31st, 2018, that means we've archived it. We want to say yes. Otherwise, we're going to say no. So we're going to come here to the Power Query and say add a column. And this is going to be a conditional column. The nice part about the query is it really steps you through the process. So let's say we first need to name it, and we're going to call this archived with a question mark. And we're going to say if the table spa sales date is before or equal to 12/31, 2018, okay, then I want it, yes, it needs to be archived, otherwise, no, it doesn't. I go ahead and click OK. It's going to process that, and you can see that there's yes and no's. We can compare the dates. All right, now what we want to do is I really want to take this and move it so that it becomes the second column. So we want to come down to the Move button, which is on our Transform tab. Click the Move button. Let's bring it to the beginning. We could keep saying move left, move left, move left, but we'll just move it to the beginning, and now we'll just move it to the right once. So it now becomes the second column within this query. Okay, so that's my conditional query. I'm going to go ahead and go to my Home ribbon in Power Query and close and load. So now I have this is a query that was merged from two different queries, and it's now, once completed, going to add my new conditional field here called archive. Okay, next I want to show you how to create a column by example. What we're going to do is I really want to copy this query currently and create a new query. So I'm just going to go ahead and point to my table spas products here query, and I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to go to the home queries, and I'm going to manage, and I want to make a duplicate of this. So make sure if this navigational pane on the left hand side is not expanded, we now have a duplicate of the table spa product. Let's go ahead and rename this query column by example, because this is the column by example that I'm going to use. All right. So with this new query created, we're going to create a column by example. So let's go add column and column from example. And all you do is you just start typing in what you want to add. So this is like a text join. So we want to get rid in this query, we want to get rid of the product ID and department, and we want to create a new field called code. So I'm just going to type 101 space and type apparel. and hit enter. And it's sort of like the auto-fill feature where it recognizes that it wants you to take the data from the first column and the data from the second column and merge them together. So go ahead and click OK. And it's going to create this new column. Now, what we want, instead of naming it merge, we want to name this new column code. So go up to your home ribbon and, transform. Go to the transform ribbon and click rename, and let's rename this code. And now we want to move this to the beginning. So click move to the beginning. And now we want to delete the product ID. You click and select product ID, hold your control key down and select department, and just press delete on your keyboard. So that what we've done now is we've created a new code that describes the product and the unit price. Go ahead and go to your home ribbon and click close and load. And this is an example of a column by example. As soon as it finishes processing, we can rename the sheet column by example. Now lastly, I want to create a custom column, and a custom column is using calculations. So once again, I want to just start with a brand new query. So we're going to point to the table spas product query again and edit it. Now, a different way, instead of managing, copy, and duplicate, you can expand your navigational product. You can select, right-click on the table spas product and choose copy, and then right-click in the blank area of the navigational pane and choose paste. And this creates a duplicate of your table spa products. Let's rename this one though custom column, because we're going to create a custom column in this. Now, a custom column is a calculated field. So we want to come up to add a column, and we want to create custom column. And in this example, we're going to create a brand new price column. So let's call this price. New price. And then you build your formula. So we're going to take the unit price and we're going to multiply it times 1.15. Go ahead and click OK. And we now have a new price right next to the unit price. Okay, now here's the nice part. Here's the what you should do is take a look at the SQL language behind this. So you want to go view and you want to check the formula bar here, and then click the advanced editor. And this is what's called the Power Query M language, which is what is being used in Excel to develop these queries. It's very similar to SQL or SQL, and it just basically tells you the source and how we renamed the columns and created a custom column called new price by taking unit price times 1.15. And it just you should continuously look at this type of programming to get used to SQL language. I'm going to go ahead and click done. My home ribbon, close and load. And that is 3 different types of columns that we created using the Power Query. A conditional column using the if function, a column by example, sort of like using text join or concatenate function, and now this is a custom column and it is used by doing a calculated field, taking the unit price times 1.15.